Kay is working on an Intarsia project right now too. So I haven't done one in a bit, so it's not quite as fresh, but I'm going to have Kay jump on and give you some of her tips. Does that sound good? Too. All right. So tell me what intrigued you about this project. Robin, how about you?
Well, I loved the scarf or the wrap that you have that I kind of started and felt a little bit overwhelmed. So I
Right.
thought I'd backtrack a little bit and try the hat first.
Perfect.
Maybe help perfect my wrap skills.
Excellent. What a great idea. And that's kind of why we went with the hat, was for that exact reason, that it's doable to help you build those skills. So good. You. Karen, how about you?
Well, I tried Intarsia years ago, and like Robin said, I felt totally overwhelmed. And so I thought the hat was really cute.
Yes, isn't it? Okay, great. Julaine?
I really want to learn Intarsia. It's so beautiful. It's just something on my list.
Okay, fabulous. Cheryl, how about you?
I've never done Intarsia, and I think it's so pretty that I just wanted to learn it.
Okay, it is pretty, isn't it? It's kind of like creating a painting, and I think that's what's beautiful about it. Lori?
I have forever thought Intarsia and Fair Isle were the same thing, so I've always thought I was doing Intarsia, which I wasn't. But I bought all the yarn to do Dee's wrap before the hat class came out, and I, like everyone else, was thinking, oh my gosh, have I bit off more than I can chew? So I was thrilled when the hat class came out. Great. So I can do this before I start the shawl, the wrap.
Yes. Oh, you guys, you just are pros. I mean, gosh, you know exactly what you need to do. Virginia, how about you? Can't hear you. There you go. Oh, still can't hear you, honey.
Okay. Okay. Can you hear me? Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Sorry. I've just always loved Dee Harwick's things. And I'm just trying to get started on a little piece before I start in on one of the bigger pieces that I have yarn for.
All right. We're all on the same path here, aren't we? Very good. Great. Luann, what about you?
Well, lately I've seen several Intarsia patterns that I really like and would really like to try, and needed to start somewhere. So this is just a good spot.
Okay. All right. Very good. Kay, would you get that pattern for me? Very good. As Lori mentioned, the hat, I'm sorry, the actual hat. There is a difference between Intarsia and stranded. And so Intarsia is like putting a picture on a piece. So I remember, thank you. I remember, so you know that that's the picture. So stranded goes all the way around. So we would carry that pink all the way around. And so we might say, well, why couldn't I do that with that flower? Why couldn't I? Well, you'd have to catch your stitches all the way around, like every 4, 5, 6 stitches. And what sometimes happens with that is they show a bit, you know, especially on like an all. Furthermore, it would use a whole bunch of yarn that you don't need to use, for Intarsia. You'll often see Intarsia done for like kids. So I remember when I first started knitting this, grandma was making a Hello Kitty sweater. And so the Hello Kitty was, you know, right here, and same thing. She did the Intarsia of the kitty. It was spectacular. Did the Intarsia of the kitty without carrying it all the way around. So everybody kind of knows the difference between stranded knitting now and Intarsia, right? You know, they do a lot of Intarsia in Great Britain. So you'll see a lot of that with Dee's work, a lot of kind of skill that that we're new to in the United States. Not that we don't do it, but we tend to be a little lazier here. We like stranded. I think because we have a lot more knitting, not that we're lazy, but.
Can I ask you a question? What's the difference between like the heart blanket and then this hat? Is the heart blanket Intarsia?
It is.
Okay.
It is. The
Okay.
the difference between the heart blanket is you're just doing
Frozen.
to Intarsia as well. So you're doing several Intarsia projects.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. So let me gear up. Val brought her homework in. So we're good for that. It was always more work to get ready for the substitute than for me to teach the class. So Val brought it all in. So let's go to screen share so that we can, how do you like that chart? Did you print the large chart out?
Yes.
Isn't it nice?
It's very,
Good. We have, here we go. Here we go. How I love this. I'll let you hold that. Kay's right here is my assistant. This is a team, a tag team kind of. Oh, I don't want that. Okay, so we have a chart program that I invested in for here at the shop, so that we can build these charts. And so Marae helps us with that. And she had the idea of making this larger. So I hope you like that. And what Val did is she took and just taped it together. Now she's done some things here that I'm going to point out to you with this chart. This is where her piece is. She is ready to do, let me take you up closer. She is ready to do one of the teal baubles here. You can see that she's got markers placed, and it appears it's every stitch blocks. All right, back to the chart. What Val did is she went, and you might want to write these down on your chart or somewhere, but these are the number of stitches that petal. So 60, 50, 50, 60, 70, and 50. And when we first started teaching Intarsia, I'll leave that up there so you can write that down. When we first started teaching Intarsia, there's kind of a school of thought of using the bobbins. So, where you do a butterfly, and Dee likes to teach butterflies. They do look pretty, but they hang in the back then and sometimes create some problems. So we're also connected with Kaif Fawcett, and Kaif is a big Intarsia guy as well, and he's a designer with Rowan, and he's a quilter first and then a knitwear designer. Well, I guess it's kind of in conjunction, but he's been at it for a very long time. And in fact, I remember a luncheon with Martin Story, and he was talking about Kaif and how Kaif just has all of his fibers laying on the table, and then he just picks it up and grabs one to go. And the piece that Kay's working on is a Kaif one, and in fact, there's a great lots of Kaif items in it as well. So what we've learned is that it's better just to let it lay and flow like this behind. Okay. And you have to be okay with messy knitting if you're doing this. So if you like things, if it drives you nuts, you just have letting them just hang, that they actually don't get as tangled. She also said, do not throw it in your bag, because leave it out on a table, leave it in a basket that you can just kind of lay it in and leave it there, because every time you throw it in a bag, you have to get it out and you have to untangle it and make it make it straight kind of thing. So that was her recommendation, was for that. Now let's go back to our 50, 60, and 70. So you need to wind off enough yarn for these petals, correct? So what she recommended was taking your yarn and you'll wrap it around your needle 60 times. So you just kind of hold it and go 1, 2, 3, 4, not loose, not tight, 5, 6, all the way around your needle. You'll want to leave about 6 inches on the beginning, 6 inches on the end, and then she said another 6 inches after that, just for good measure. Okay. Then you would cut that off, and that's going to be enough to do those petals. So, you know, you're going to get engaged with them pretty quickly. So you're going to get, this one will start first, and then you'll be doing 3 of the petals at a time. So you might wind off, you know, 70, 60, and 50 and get those ready to go. She also has here this orange highlighted. So this is, again, where she is at, and then we'll talk about technique. I'll let Kay talk about technique. This, oh no, that's not where she's at. So after this bobbin here, the orange shows, so this is our base, whatever your base color is. The orange shows that you're going to need another base color bobbin. Okay. And that base color, if you look here, and you'll have the recording in this so that you can come back to this, but if you look here, everything in orange will be on that base. So you're going to come back, finish this little smidge up to here. So I guess you could count all those stitches, you know, there's 10, 20, 40, and then 10, 20, 50, 60, 80 back, and wind off a bobbin that way for that. Whole bit for your Intarsia. After you get through that one, then she said the rest of it should be able to stay on your skein and finish your main color. Okay.
Was that orange stripe all the way over to the edge of the start of the row?
Yes.
The orange stripe on there. Okay, I just couldn't see it. So
You
okay,
bet.
gotcha.
You betcha. The orange stripe would be another bobbin, small bobbin. Okay. Another small bobbin. And then when Val was running out the door, she said they should be able to do the rest of it with your, you know, your skein type of thing, with your whatever's holding to your skein. Okay. Other questions of what I've covered so far?
I don't understand that part because you keep freezing.
Uh-huh. Okay.
So why are you doing that stripe kind of thing?
It has to be a bobbin because of the pink that's up here. So you can't strand that across there.
I see. So does that occur on between every petal?
Every petal is its own.
Yeah, every petal is its own, but she's talking about the background.
Oh, okay.
So you would come up, my hunch is you're going to need it up in here too. Val may not have caught that yet, but you're going to need it up in here too.
Another bobbin or whatever you call it.
Right, right.
And I really like your suggestion, and I have to say this because when I did the butterflies with the wrap, I think that's what made me so frustrated. It got so tangled, where I think if you just dropped it, you wouldn't have that.
Mm-hmm, 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 mm-hmm.
So I'm glad you shared that with us.
Okay, good, 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 good. Whoop, let me get
So
your-
Angie, on all the backgrounds, in between the petals, you're going to need to have your own, whatever, more yarn.
Yes, your background bobbin.
Each one-
Elaine.
Okay, the H1 needs a bobbin, okay.
Yeah, yep.
Your one bobbin would work all the way.
It'll
up.
work all the
This
way
one would
up.
work to here.
Mm-hmm.
You'd need
Okay.
a new one starting here
Right here.
Okay.
as you come up. And when you go across here, you're going to need to start one to do this.
Well, this is part of this one, Kay.
Coming
The
this way
orange,
back.
and
Okay,
it
if it's
waits
coming
for
this
you.
direction,
Yeah,
okay.
Okay.
So you would need a new one here that you'd carry up, and that would just keep being used.
You keep freezing.
I
Yeah.
know, I'm sorry.
So is there a different, how many main hat color bobbins will you have aside of the flower and the stars?
Don't
You
know.
would have-
You're gonna, the best thing, Lori, for you to do is to get started. And then the important thing is that you don't strand this across.
Okay, so every time that happens, you're gonna do a bobbin.
Yeah. Right, right. You do not, I did that. I made a mistake of strand.
Frozen. I think we lost her.
Yeah. I wonder how you decide how much yarn to use for the bobbin.
Go
That
along.
was the question, yeah.
Yeah, you're gonna go along.
Needle is what she was saying. According to the number of stitches you make is how I understood that. Is that what you guys understood?
I'm
Yes,
not
For the-
sure.
For the petals, but not, I don't
It's a
know. if it's
wrap.
the Background.
Yeah, but are we talking about the background?
The
Yeah.
background, we're talking about the background. Yeah,
Like how much would you think to leave off of a bobbin then?
well, I'd count your stitches over here. I would keep this on your, I would roll off, I would count this, okay? We can count it for you. This and roll you one bobbin for that to start with, okay? And then this one, just leave as is until you're ready, and you're gonna need, because you'll be able to use it.
So you'd come in here and you'd be doing this little bit.
Right.
Then when you get back here, returning, you would have a new one starting.
You'd have a
from
new
this
bobbin
one.
right in here.
What happened? You said you made a mistake and carried it. What did it do?
It
Puckered. Okay.
That's why I haven't finished an Intarsia project yet. So I thought I'm just going to carry it, and then it totally puckered it. And I'm a loose knitter, and I was intentional about not carrying it, et cetera, et cetera. So
Angie, I have a question.
yes,
The orange for the bobbin, okay? You're doing those like 1, 2, 3 below the pink. So are you rolling it all the way to the end? Is that what you're doing? Counting those stitches all the way to the end and back?
that's
Is that
right.
what you're doing? Okay,
That's right.
okay.
That's right. That's right. Okay, I'm going to let Kay. Any other questions?
I have one question on each one of those stars.
Yeah.
You don't, on each row of stars, so to speak, they're all not rows. Do you need to put a separate bobbin for each row? I mean, of
You do.
stars?
You do.
Okay.
You
Okay.
do. So Val just pulls off a little. Let's look on the back. So here's one, and it looks like she's got maybe 2 feet.
And she's got more than she will.
And then
be
there's
using.
one there, and there's one here, and there's one here. So yes, every one of your stars need about, I would say, 2 feet, 24 inches. That would be plenty,
More than enough.
plenty. Okay. And they're just laying there. See how they're just laying there, waiting? So when I did my Intarsia, I just I did a bunch, and then I stopped and rolled off more. And then I did a bunch and stopped and rolled off more. All off from the beginning. Okay, I'm gonna let Kay talk about
And
what
I'm
she
gonna- I'll
did.
use that because I'm
Okay.
gonna show a few pictures here.
All right. Keep that up. Whoop, there you go. We're doing our best.
The one book that Angie referenced is The Painterly, and
Mhm.
it's the kind of I think it's our most recent one, or close to the most recent one that we have gotten from Kay Gardner and Ann Shane, the MDK. This is a group that I like to follow. And if you would go to their website, they do like a daily newsletter. And they have had in the last 2-3 weeks or so, a series of different videos on doing Intarsia and talking about Kate's projects. But anyhow, when this book came out, I found called The Village Scarf, and it's tons of colors. There's actually 19 different colors that you're using for Intarsia. And then you have your pages with your chart or your design schematic for your colors. And over here is the chart that you're knitting with. And when Angie was talking about the amount of stitches and stuff, just so you know how I kind of developed how much to do is, like she said, you count here. One color. Then I needed my door colors. So this would be another bobbin.
Can you say again how you did that, because it froze? So you said how
Okay.
you did your count. And then I missed the rest of that.
And I'm going back and forth. Okay. So I'm starting here. So I knew then that I measured my blocks. These are 6 by 5. So there's 30 stitches here. And so this is a real easy chart to work with from the fact that it's squared. So I knew that here I'd be doing 30, 60, 90 stitches here that I could be doing with my one yarn for sure. I knew I needed another yarn here. And this one is 30, 60 stitches. And over here would be a new yarn again, 30, 60. So then when I looked, okay, if I'm going back and forth, I have 3 bobbins to start with. Then I come back here to start row 7. I would still be using this original yarn and it would work all the way up. So I knew then I would have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 blocks of 30 stitches. So then I did kind of the measuring and I learned then how many inches I needed for this huge big square. This one being a 30, this being a 60. I then again found out how much yarn I needed to do those. And again, I had just a 30 in here. And then I had a 60 here. So once I knew what 30 was worth, I could kind of formula out the rest of it. And the same way up here when I did the roof. So I'm going to show you on my phone, because I wasn't planning on that per se, but I had just started this project not too long ago. And I'll show you, I'm gonna have to go back and forth to a couple things here on my phone. But I'm gonna show you first what it's looking like right now. Can you see that okay? You see that I have 3 sets of the houses and roofs done so far. So that's how my front looks. And I'm going to go to another spot. I had to email my husband and say, send me a couple pictures, please. Here's where it's located. Here's the back side. So you can see when you're working in Intarsia, we're not talking things being neat. There we go. Because you do have those little ends. So my advice is when you finish one piece of, like one whole petal is done, or your little Intarsia little crosses that you're doing, when you're done with those, go ahead and weave in your ends. So with these 3 houses, I've done the weaving section of the houses. Then on the next picture, this is my ottoman sitting in front of my couch. And it's actually, I'm looking at it like this. So here's a big chunk of yarn, which is actually the main color that goes quite a ways. Here's a smaller chunk that's for a door, I think, or between the door. And this is a big chunk that goes up on another. So here's my windows, and then this is the stuff for the roof and the sky. So I have those all sitting out, and I have them laid out in the order when I start the row, because my first row, as that picture had shown, I needed to have actually going. All right, let's maybe talk about the hiding part. Okay.
Okay, so like on the snowflake of this one or whatever that is, you count up 8. So what did you say we should measure off for that small amount?
So do your wrapping.
Sorry, I'll get it. There we go.
Okay, you would do your needle wrapping to see how much yarn it took plus tails for both ends for doing that many stitches.
So you wrap it once, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
4 inches on either end for doing your weaving in. So 8 wraps plus 8 inches.
Kay, are you leaving 6 inches or 4 inches on the ends in the beginning?
Whatever's comfortable for you. And if you just do it kind of consistent, it'll just be your system.
Okay, thank you.
Intarsia is a bit of being an artist. So for those of you that like things exacting, you're not going to be exact. You've got to be kind of flexible with this. You may have a whole bunch left over and you say, oh, well, snip it off. Okay. All right. So Kay's going to give you some tips of how you work with your yarns when you're doing the over and under kind of thing. The wrapping, right, Kay? Or the what? What do we call it?
Well, what do we want to call it? when you're working your 2, I'm going to try to get another yarn here. I'm not going to actually play with her project except I'm going to move some things over here.
How much does the
I'm going to go up to where she has her first little check.
and then so $50 for the room plus the food, correct? Okay. And what would you do for
Okay, so how much contrast? Let me just use this.
Well, that's.
Will that show better?
Yeah.
Will it show enough
Yes.
contrast to this?
Definitely.
Okay.
You can't give them. Oh, to your blue.
Yeah, yeah. I'll
Okay.
just, here, let me just pull her end here, I think.
Okay.
So hold the 13th for me. And then,
Okay.
show
So
me-
we have a stitch here. Let's just pretend here's our current stitch that you have your yarn still connected from and your working yarn.
Yeah, there you
There
go.
we go. There you go. We have the stitch that you're going to work. You have your yarn that is connected here. And you're coming up to your stitch because it's what she had. And I'm going to turn it like we're.
There you go. Yeah, that's a
That
good
help
idea.
there.
Mhm.
So pretend this is our live. We're getting in here to purl. Now, I'm a lefty, so I'm trying to rethink what I'm doing here. Your new stitch needs to come. You need to trap
Comes up from underneath.
up from under. See your blue here and your working yarn. So you're trapping. Stitch. I can't curl right-handed.
So is it basically old over new?
Yes, that's correct.
Yes, because here's your
Don't
new, there's your old.
Mhm.
And you're gonna then work your stitch.
It's a little twist that you're doing.
Right.
There we go. You did it, Kay. Yay.
I'm gonna move it here, so.
So
And
it's
so
all,
when you come back the other way, again, your old is over your new. So you always have it where you are getting, so you have the one trapped, always trap your one. And go ahead and get onto those MDK. If you would go to their website, they really are helpful, those little YouTubes that they have there on Intarsia. Because there is one specifically that talks about the yarn. Another one shows them with all of the little ends hanging in the little pile, and you just kind of work those out. I found those are really helpful and encouraging.
knitting. Okay. All right, questions you have?
This is a silly question probably, but I guess I'm a little confused. Do you only have those things when you're close to the petals, the bobbins or whatever you're calling them?
Correct. They'll live there.
Other than that, you just keep it on the thing.
On what thing, Robin?
On you're just going along and then you drop to do the bobbin thing. That's what I don't understand.
Yep. So you're coming along and the for you. So this is, let's say we're purling back. Then you'll pick up this yarn, you'll do your 2 stitches, you'll drop this yarn, and you'll pick up the next yarn and work. That's why there has little bobbins or bits and pieces of yarn. Then it just hangs there. You just leave it there. Then you'll come along, you'll work this one. And at some point this will be done because you will have done your 8 stitches and you'll just ready to weave it all in. And then you'll come along and here waiting for you is your yellow yarn. And then it'll be waiting for you when you come back. Does that help?
But each of those, also the main color is on a separate bobbin in between each of
That's
those as
right,
well,
Lori.
correct?
That's right.
Okay, got it.
And the likelihood of you being able to have just your main yarn, attached to your yarn for the whole project is not going to be there. You're going to have.
So it's basically, I think I understand now. It's just how when you get closer to the flower
Yes.
that you have
that's
these
right.
bobbins. Okay.
Yes. Yes.
Got it.
Yeah. Right. Okay. Other questions? Do you need more screen pictures or not? We'll go back to the grid. Anybody need to see another example? Okay, I'll take that as a no. Okay, we'll come back to seeing you. There we are. We will download this and I will try to go get the link to that Modern Day Knitting and embed it in our email as well. It's really into their Intarsia right now. And so they've got some really good tutorials on how to do the yarns.
Awesome. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
How
Other
far
questions?
should we get for next week? How far do we need to go?
Well, Val said, once you get going, you're going to want to do it all, she said. So a couple of notes on that. You might want to write this down. So she said next week. For a beanie style hat, it's 7 inches from the brim to when you start your decreases. So now if you want it more slouchy, you'll want to go 8 to 9 inches. So I think the other thing you have to consider is what you're going to do with your pom-pom. You know, I'm a pom-pom. I love good, big, bold pom-poms. But you need to know that this has got some weight to it. right? So if you make it slouchy, it's really gonna be kind of pulling down. You might have to shorten up your pom-pom. So you can see even, and this is a beanie, am I showing them?
Yep.
Even at a beanie fit, that pom's, and we didn't attach this pom-pom super. Attach those pom-poms by running a yarn back up through them and back down so that but you need to have that in consideration of what you want your hat to be like.
The
Does that help?
beanie is 7 inches from the cast on or from the
From
ribbing?
the
top the
cast
ribbing?
on, from the cast on before you start the decrease. And then she said, if you want it more slouchy, which you could leave the pom-pom off. You could leave it, or you could even put a furry pom-pom on
Do
there.
you count from the ribbing or the start of your main color for
From
that 7
cast on, from cast on. So that would be your ribbing from the cast on of the hat, Robin.
Okay, okay.
You bet, you bet. So, you could put, I think a fur pom-pom would even be cute on this too.
Mhm.
So that would be lighter and not so heavy. So you kind of, this pom-pom, I think we use quite a bit of the skein. That's the thing about good looking pom-poms. They take a lot of yarn. So other questions?
Did you use your pom-pom maker for that?
We did.
Because it looks pretty perfect.
Yes, that pom-pom makers, you can't beat those. Why do the other work? Next week, she's going to explain weaving ends and the mattress stitch. So you can zip right along. If you run into a problem, let us know. I'm not sure Valerie will be here Monday or week, depending on what happens with her dad. So, but Kay is currently in an Intarsia project, and I can help you. If you have other questions, stop in and we can give it a look. And I think these links that we're going to send you for you. You've looked at them, haven't you, Kay?
Yeah, they're good. It's moderndailyknitting.com is the website where they have all of their little snippets, little bits of information. They do it where you can see.
And actually, if you follow them on Instagram, it's really easy to get to their link. So, because you tap on their picture and it takes you, if you look at their Instagram feed, they got a whole bunch of Intarsia in there real recently. And you just, once you get to their link, you tap on that picture and it opens up their website. So.
Will you tell Val we're thinking of her and her
I
family?
will,
Yes.
we will, yes. Miss. I know she's been very excited about working with you guys. So we appreciate your consideration. And Kay and I doing a fill-in here. We're doing the best we can.
Thanks, substitute teachers.
Great.
You guys will be able to teach it next week. You'll be experienced. Don't worry about it. Do the best you can. It's like I tell folks with socks. Your first run at this might not be perfect. You've got quite a bit of yarn in those 2 skeins that you'll be able to do another one. And, I could see making a bunch of these hats. Then you can even think about designing your own design. Cheryl's shaking her head. Come on, Cheryl. Now you remember how socks were and look what happened to you with socks.
I'm gonna try.
Okay.
Is it possible to make the pom-pom multicolor, like of your yarn?
Sure. You bet. You bet. And we're sorry, we thought those more colors. I'll get those colors and show you. I don't know why everything's coming on the boat. I can't even get dog food because my dog food is in here. So I had to switch my dog food and made my dog sick. And so I'm ready for dog food so we can get together. But let me show you those colors.
Ask her if she went through chewy.com for her dog.
Yeah, I know. I'm going to have to do something. She's like standing there looking at me like, why did I feel well? And I want to say, why don't you just talk? Then we could get through this. It's kind of a pretty beet red. Ooh. There's a purple. This is a little more spring green,
Mhm, mhm.
Oh, those are
Nice.
awesome colors.
nice kind of navy, a nice orange. And then this is kind of a
Wine burgundy.
wine burgundy.
Beautiful.
Mhm.
So those are the 6 new colors.
Very nice.
6 new colors on a boat.
New colors on a boat. Robin. Yes, I got things coming in for Valentine's Day that are on a boat, and so we just make the best of it. What are we gonna do?
Did
So-
you sell out on that wrap that was so pretty you had from D before? The one I bought. It's pink and kind of that green.
What was the yarn? Was it cotton cashmere? Was it this? I don't remember, Rob.
I don't know, Kay, you got it for me.
I know, I'm trying to think which one that was.
We'll look it up and find out.
It's so pretty. I can see women wanting to do that again after they try this hat. I know I'm anxious to go back to it.
She's
Good.
got lots of fun pattern books. So next time you're in, you can look at it and see.
Yeah.
One of our gals that gets on Thursday, Sylvia, she's doing the pillows. And they're looking great. And I know Luann,
Yeah, I got yarn and stuff for a pillow. So yeah, I want to figure this out. So.
and you know what? If you get frustrated, just work a swatch. Just cast on
Yeah.
20, 30 stitches and just play with it a little bit.
Mhm.
And practice it that way. If you want this to be, really, really spectacular from the get-go, just practice it.
Well, thanks for making the chart bigger. That helps.
Good, good. Yeah, I think so.
This is something I created
Oh,
from an idea that.
you created. You can just show it up there.
See if I can get it here.
Oh, there you go. There
Can
you
you
go.
see that? It's kind of a blanket size, but I had seen a poster one time that I really liked, a picture. And so I just kind of drew out on what I wanted to do. And I didn't know it was in what you would call Intarsia at the time. It was just kind of what I was doing. But you can see there where it starts and grow. I had, I think, like 12 or 14 colors going. Little bobbin things. But you can get into doing some big projects once
whole
you get
wall.
going with it.
A whole wall hanging to hang in your house with all your leftover yarn that you can just use up, and then it could just be a big wall hanging. Okay, ladies. Good to see you today. Thanks for your consideration again. Good luck. We'll be excited to check in. I imagine Val will be here by next Friday. So unless the worst happens. So we'll let her know that you are thinking of her. Okay.
Thanks. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.